According to the Federal Emergency Management Agency, more people lost their lives due to inland flooding, which is a direct result of tropical cyclones, better known as hurricanes, than any other weather hazard during the years of 1970 to 1999. I am certain that you are all aware of the devastating blow, no pun intended, that Hurricane Sandy has had on the East Coast. When something of this multitude rains, it affects us all. Even if we are not physically experiencing it, we feel it in our hearts and our minds, and it weighs heavily on us. I never learned much about hurricanes, or thought there was ever a cause for concern that maybe one day we may have one. But with the drastic changes globally, it could happen at any time, and if you travel, it would be wise to be aware. Have you ever wondered where hurricanes come from or how they form? What would you do if you were suddenly in the midst of a full-on cyclone? Do you feel prepared? To what extent do these impact society, and how do we bounce back? Well, I am here to answer these questions and give you the information to sustain your thirst for knowledge on the subject. In a nutshell, hurricanes are essentially moist tropical air which becomes condensed and pressurized. Heat and strengthening winds form an eye, and it refuels itself. There are 4 stages, the first one being tropical disturbance with clouds, showers, and thunderstorms with a duration exceeding 24 hours. The second is tropical depression, which is a counterclockwise winds blowing around a center of low pressure. Winds are 38 miles per hour or less. The third stage is tropical storm. At this point, it receives a name from the National Hurricane Center. Winds range from 39 to 73 miles per hour. The fourth and final stage is a hurricane. Winds are 74 miles per hour, and they can become much stronger. They are based on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being the lowest and 5 being the highest. Wind speed, pressure, and destructive potential is what they base it on. Preparing for a storm is easy, and the #1 recommendation is using common sense. Hurricane hazards include storm surges, heavy rainfall, flooding, high winds, tornadoes, and rip currents. So learning evacuation routes, seeking out shelters, checking emergency equipment, buying food that will keep, having plenty of water and first aid on hand is critical. Other things that can be done are gathering plywood, trimming trees, cleaning out the gutters, fueling vehicles, and keeping cash on hand. During a storm, listen to the radio, secure your house, turn off all utilities and propane tanks. Avoid listening to your phone or using your phone. Keep curtains and blinds closed. Doors shut. Make sure you are on the lowest level and in a small room. Lie on the floor if possible. These are just a few steps in protecting yourself and your family. And now we come to what happens after the storm. The wind and water from hurricanes is very destructive. Buildings, transportation, water, energy, and communication systems are all affected. It has been 7 years since Hurricane Katrina, and the process of recovery is still in motion. There is economic destruction, population loss, changes in habitat, and coastal land shifts. As you can see, developing hurricane-resistant communities is critical to survival. The Federal Emergency Management Agency and Red Cross serve the people affected, and you can help too. Just check out their websites to find out how. A local East Coast family is driving across the states and the cities to help those in need. This is an exceptional example of the many things we can do. Today, I have discussed how a hurricane forms, preparation before and during a hurricane, and how society is affected. It is vital information, even if you believe you will never be involved in a storm because it applies to all that is encompassed in a hurricane. Appreciate what we have here on the West Coast, because while we are safe and warm, lives are being turned upside down. If you have time or any materials you can donate, please never hesitate to do so, because you could be helping families survive a horrific loss that will haunt them for the rest of their lives. Thank you.